What's up, everybody? Welcome to Ask Rinde. I'm Rinde Adebayo, digital entrepreneur, real estate entrepreneur, coming to you with another video. Welcome to Ask Rinde. If it's your first time at the channel, please hit the subscribe button and smash the like button. Please share the video. It's been a pleasure actually getting on this journey with you guys, getting to connect with so many people from all around the country. The actual response and engagement has been overwhelming. I mean, I never expected to connect and meet with so many people through my videos, and I'm so grateful and so happy to really be able to reach out and help each and every one of you. So today I want to talk about two types of main foreclosure, and that is there's a lot of video and information out there regarding types of foreclosure, and there are only two main types of foreclosure in the US, and that is judicial foreclosure and non-judicial foreclosure. And the reason why I wanted to do this video was because in order for you to be able to beat the foreclosure process, you really need to know the process itself, and not only the process itself, but the overall scope and idea and intent or setup regarding foreclosure. Because if you don't know that, you're not going to be able to beat the process. Now, before I start, I want to say this. There's a myth out there that foreclosures are homes are foreclosed on. Homes are not foreclosed on. Loans are foreclosed on. So in essence, foreclosures happen to loans and foreclosures do not happen to homes. I'm going to say that again. Foreclosures happen to loans and foreclosures do not happen to homes. And so, for example, you can never see a property that was bought cash foreclosed on because there's no debt attached to the property. Now, of course, they have to pay their taxes because any government lien supersedes any kind of loan or any lien attached to a property, but you have to pay your taxes in order for your cash purchase or your cash bought property to stay free and clear. Other than that, foreclosures only happen to loans. So it's very important. So a lot of times when people find themselves in a situation with foreclosure, they start to panic and they really don't know where to go. There's a lot of tension, there's a lot of worry because these things generally take time and then they come upon a person. Being in the business for so long and seeing so many different scenarios and helping so many hundreds of families, I've seen situations where a person has a job, everything is fine, and then there's a layoff that happens, and so 1 month turns into 2 months, 2 months turns into 3 months, and then the foreclosure process starts. So what happens basically is that when a person has a loan and they get behind, let's say they don't pay a month, the first thing's going to happen is the lender will send a letter of what is called an intent to foreclose. You generally get that when you're 30 days behind. They'll send that to you, and they'll roll. That'll keep rolling. They'll send it to you the first 30 days, and if you go into a 60-day default, they'll send that. And then after the third month, that's really when the process starts to move towards the foreclosure. So what happens with the types of the two main types of foreclosures, you really need to know that with the judicial foreclosure, most states in the U.S. actually abide by that, meaning that the lender then after that third month files what is called a lis pendens, and lis pendens is Latin for pending lawsuit. So what they do is they basically put on notice the courts so that it can be filed in the county records that they are intending to and there's a pending lawsuit against the person or against you to foreclose on the home. The judicial foreclosure process means that the entire foreclosure process is administered and carried out by the courts. Okay, and so and under that there are two I guess modes of which they do that. There's what is called a foreclosure by sale, and then it's what is called a strict foreclosure. Foreclosure by sale basically is when you hear about the properties being auctioned off, what happens basically is that the lender then, after they file their lis pendens and they notify the public, the courts record it, which means that now buyers, potential buyers, the public, and by large the overall, I guess, system out there knows that the property is then pending to be foreclosed on because of default on the loan. But after that process happens, then they actually administer what is called a timeline for which the courts execute or carry out the foreclosure or auction process. So with a foreclosure by sale, what you find is that they'll go ahead and give it a couple of months, and then they'll set the property up for an auction. So that's when you see people who have a sheriff sale scheduled. They've been notified months prior to that, and they know that their home is going to be sheriff sold off or auctioned off at a certain date. So that's what is called a foreclosure by sale. Separately, there's a strict foreclosure, and that is really when they will still make a notice, a public notice to the homeowner, but they will actually set a time where the homeowner has to reinstate or pay them loan. Otherwise, they will just auction off the property, and they don't need to go through the sheriff sale process. The sheriff sale process, as you know, is a process where the properties then are auctioned off, and the lender generally sends an attorney to the auction and starts the process as I would say, the first bidder. So what the mortgage companies do is they'll send an attorney, or they'll hire an attorney firm months before, to administer the process, because they don't do it themselves. They're going to hire an attorney, and that's why sometimes when people go to order their payoff amount, or they may start off with their debt being one amount, and it balloons or is much more, the default judgment is later, is because the attorney fees have been packed on. And so what happens basically is that when the lender then sends the attorney to the auction, that attorney will start the bidding off at the lowest amount, because they want to be able to take the property back, or the loan back from the person, from you, at the lowest amount. Now, there are other third-party people there, potential buyers and investors, that will bid on the property to be able to get it. This is how investors buy properties. This is one of the modes that they buy properties. And so judicial foreclosure is the main, I would say, foreclosure process that is carried out throughout all. So with non-judicial foreclosure, it allows the lender to pretty much advertise the property and move towards the sale without court involvement. They still have to actually give public notice to the owner and also to the public, and they get that recorded in the county the county records office. But the main thing that you need to know about non-judicial foreclosure is that it was opted in for, which means that when you actually signed your loan, you agree to it. Generally, they're able to enforce this by what is called a power of sale clause that is added to the mortgage or the deed. The reason why this is so important is because non-judicial, based on your estate, you need to know these two types. If you're governed and your state is governed by judicial foreclosure or non-judicial foreclosure. Here's why this is such a big point that I want to make with this video, and that is this. With non-judicial foreclosures, generally, there is no redemption period. Now, I go into detail with this, and I'm probably going to do an exclusive video on this, because this is something that is so important regarding foreclosures, because when you go through the entire process, your home gets bid at the auction, people think it's over. Now, of course, the laws vary state to state. And so in the case where, like, I'm in New Jersey, we have a judicial process here. And so with that, we are able to pinpoint certain things that we can do regarding the entire process to redeem the property back. In New Jersey, you have a 10-day redemption period. And during that time, there's a lot that can be done. And what I do is I go into detail with that. I'm going to leave a link below to my website where you can actually get information on that regarding how to redeem the property in the case where your property was sold at the auction. So with the non-judicial foreclosure, what happens basically is that after they've administered or recorded that, they can actually just go ahead and set an auction date and sell the property off. Like I said, or I mentioned earlier, depending on what state you're in, it will also depend on whether or not you have enough time to be able to react. So in New York, New Jersey, and also Guam, we have probably the longest foreclosure processes is 12 months. Meaning that when the lender files, they have to go through a process. That's why you'll see generally here, people can hold on to their homes for, sometimes in the past, people have been able to go 2 months, 2 years, 3 years, some 4 years. The highest that I've had is 12 years without paying. And I know 12 years without paying. I've actually personally gotten people out of foreclosure that hadn't paid their mortgage in like about 7 years. So you could see from New Jersey how it is. But now, for example, if you go over to California, you have 4 months. If you were in Nevada, it's 3 months. If you were in Arizona, it's 3 months. So and key thing about California is this: if you're watching this and you're from California, um, with California, it's kind of crazy because, like I said, when you sign up for this, so with that power of sale clause that's attached to the deed and the mortgage, the lender then holds the right. In California, they hold the deed. The deed is never released to the homeowner. So you see these big mansions, Beverly Hills, or whether it's just an average home in California, the homeowner never has the deed. So the lender has no restriction. They can foreclose quickly. Florida also has a fast process. So it's important to know that foreclosure laws vary state to state. When you get into a situation or you see something coming where you know that you're in trouble, it's important to be informed. You can definitely reach out to us. We'll do everything that we can to help you because it is in the knowledge that you know how to navigate. If you go into this blindsided and you think that you're just going to call an attorney's office and the attorney's going to, I mean, listen, there's attorneys out there that are making, and again, I have attorneys that work for us. But the thing about it is that there's just this myth that, you have a problem with your house and your loan and you go to an attorney, you snap your finger and everything's going to go away. And it's a completely untrue situation. Ironically, you're going to spend a lot of money with the attorneys because some of these attorneys charge retainer fees that are exorbitant, and then also their fees are very high. They're very. So you do need to do your research, find a proper attorney that's going to charge you basic for what you need to do if you are going to go the route of working with an attorney. So with non-judicial foreclosure, if your state applies, you really need to know you're right. Now, for example, in California, there is no deficiency judgment. It's prohibited. But in Nevada, it's allowed. So again, there's a lot of variables with it. But the most important thing for you to know is the fact that if you are in a state that's covered by judicial foreclosure, the entire process, and knowing your timeline is very important. I've seen people, really, a lot of times the battles with foreclosures are lost because of time. Timing is so important. So with that, I want to basically say, I look forward to helping so many much more people. If there's anything that we could do, as I always say, I always reach out and extend my hand to you. My website's AskRinde.com, phone number 201-855-7575. And you can also email us, askrindenow@gmail.com. Really, this year, we plan to help over 300 families. And we're really on course to do that and make that and probably exceed that. But I want to say with this process, when you're in a situation that you're facing something like this, don't wait. And this is someone speaking to you from experience, 16 years experience, helping hundreds of families. I've really done and dealt with millions of dollars in foreclosures. And timing is very important. Okay, so until next time, I'm going to do another video in detail regarding the redemption because that's so key. A lot of people feel like that all hope is lost. Sometimes some people have lost their homes. We've been able to help them get it back. Now, I know that there's a lot of information floating around online. I speak straight from experience, and this is what we're doing. We're not just doing videos to show off or share with people things that we're not dealing with. This is what we're dealing with on a daily basis. So look forward to working with you guys and meeting more and connecting more. Until next time.